I'm sure for those of you who have followed this channel for long enough, you can attest to this, that I tend to cover quite a diverse range of content in regard to, in the artistic space, but I tend to look more so at the visual arts. And there's a bit of an overlap here, with music videos and stuff, but I've never really explored music in depth. It's something that I've wanted to do for a long time. I've been kind of throwing around the idea of whether to do it on this channel or a different one. I got some ideas. That channel might happen. It's a bit different in terms of the form I want to take it in, but I've wanted to cover music for a while because I love cinema and I love video gaming and stuff like that, but music is very much a first love for me. In many ways, I'm sure down the line, because I tend to go, I want to go more into the space. I think we'll explore it with time, progressively. I'll just say right now that I have a deeper connection to music than I do film, in particular, that music has been with me for so long. And I know talent when I see it. So the range of groups that I listen to, they've really helped me out in a lot of ways throughout my own life. Depending on the one or the type you listen to, music is able to open doors in regard to self-exploration and a greater understanding of maybe not even just yourself, but the world around you. And that's really impressed itself on me for many years now. So I've wanted to explore that more because, again, I like to talk about, just relatable concepts that really anybody can go through, perhaps, again, through a different form of art. And that's what music does. And ever since I started covering Starset, especially to such an extent with them, they're really the catalyst as to why I got into this space. For those who don't know Starset, they're an American rock group and they're very talented. Very sci-fi, really cool. I love that. I love those guys. But I covered their latest album, Horizons, all the way through. I've never really done that before, at least to that extent. And I'm like, I kind of want to keep this up. And with those videos, people threw me some suggestions. I will take those into consideration. I have to look on the list in terms of the comments and write down the groups. But I've been trying to figure out after Starset what I want to cover next. And I have a lot of names I'm throwing around. So you might see them on this channel. In fact, some groups that are, maybe I've listened to some of their songs. Maybe I want to share them with you. So they'll be a little different from like a first impression reaction. In fact, I've listened to those songs before, but maybe you haven't. So I want to be able to share, to lead you to different groups possibly that in some way very talented and creative. And today we're going to look at one of those groups. So this is, and I'm sure probably many of you, probably some of you might have heard this. I don't know. I don't know how broad their range is yet in America, but I'm pretty sure they're popular, especially I forget where they are in Europe. But Blackbriar, they're from, I thought it was from the Netherlands. I might be wrong on that. Anyway, they're a European gothic metal group, and I love metal. Gothic stuff, I've never been a real goth person. My understanding of it's kind of more, it's a darker side of culture, I guess, if you want to call it that. But this band is very creative, and the range of music I listen to. Now, I will say up front, as I've made no secret of this on this channel, but I'm a Christian. They tend to focus a lot of attention in terms of the narrative and the themes and the stories they tell for their music on myth and folklore. It's a very interesting angle. It's very poetic in a lot of ways. There are some myths, though, that I'm kind of like, well, I don't know how well I agree with this. And sometimes they pop up in their music. For example, and yes, it's more so from like a fantasy angle, but sometimes maybe there'll be illustration on magic, or maybe something that would kind of be considered like a sorcery. I'm kind of like, well, I'm a bit indifferent to that. They had one song in their last album, which most of the songs were really good on. I actually really enjoyed. In fact, some of them might appear on this channel. Keep your eyes peeled for the future. I don't think this is the last time I'll cover Blackbriar by any means, but they did have one song in there called The Seance, and just by the name alone, even just reading the lyrics, it was made worse to me, but I'm just kind of like, well, I've never listened to that one. I haven't. Even as talented as the tune is, I'm sure, as much as it expresses that, I just won't listen to that song. Now, I try to give praise, though, to praiseworthy elements, and I love metal, and I don't know why it's Europe that always has like the better music than we do in America. It's very interesting. With exception, like I said, Starset's good, and there are many other groups as well, but I don't know, maybe it's just because all the music nowadays, especially the ones that are so heavily advertised, are very homogenized in terms of the Hollywood industry. They all sound the same to me anyways. American music, for the most part, just bores me. All this stuff around the world is like so much better. Even in the cinema space, like South Korea's got like a really cool entertainment industry, but Europe does too. This group is very creative in terms of their instruments. I mean, I first got into them when, I don't remember, I think it was just I was looking for music to listen to in passing, and they popped up one day with Untitled Eternity, which has a very interesting story to it. It's definitely like themed in like, it sounds like kind of a reincarnation aspect. I just look at it from, okay, that's fiction. But it's a beautiful song. I mean, the tune is just it's mesmerizing. And again, I love the metal angle, and you hear that through the instruments. It's done masterfully. But the main attraction to me of this band is Zola Koch, the lead singer. Her voice, and I've listened to many female-fronted bands, from all different styles, whether that be through, again, from a Christian perspective, maybe the worship space, maybe some in the alternative space, rock space, even some maybe that would be considered like rap or hip-hop. And there's talented groups and very talented women. I've never heard, though, a voice like Zola's. Her range, and just the command of it is incredible. I mean, to cite, I think, a couple tunes you hear this best on, Deadly Diminuendo. I might cover that one this channel because that song is so beautiful. And Until Eternity was certainly, I think, a good vantage point of it. We'll see how it is here, but that's like the main thing. Her voice, I've never heard it. And if you've never heard of this band before, you are going to hopefully get an introduction to that today with Fairy of the Bog, which is a very cool illustration, which is, it's particular to their albums. Usually when they or singles or release a new song, they'll put out a very interesting illustration. Let's go ahead and give this a listen. It's kind of, I think, it came across me like, is this like a Christmas Blackbriar track? That's interesting. But if you have never heard their music or their voice before, we'll see with the lyrics. Again, like I said, I'm a bit indifferent to some of the myths that might be contained, but if you've never heard Zola's voice before, you are going to be in for a fun treat. We're going to go ahead and we're going to listen and watch this song first, Fairy of the Bog, and we'll talk about it more in my condensed review segment. Follow us watching the video together. Okay, without further ado, here we go. Let's start it. They have beautiful music videos, by the way, in terms of cinematography. That's pretty. I do the thing for European women, by the way. It's those accents. Maybe that's why I keep stumbling in these groups. I don't know. They just learn to come my way. Because I'm like, oh, you sound so beautiful. It's a good piano intro. It's very soft. Told you. That echo's beautiful as well. Again, I'm looking at this from the perspective of a fairy tale. I like the drum coming in too. Oh, it's beautiful. I do love the jumps in terms of the tone. It's beautiful imagery. Great arrangement of her voice too. I love it. Just again, how much it jumps to different places in terms of pitch. I don't know if it's mist. It looks like a very deep red scarlet cloak. So I'm like, is everything mist like that? I love the riff in the background as well. It's great. It's a really nice blend, too, with the music and her voice here. It's just a beautiful balance. Guitar solo. Not bad. it's that like whimsical whisper. Just it's enchanting. Nice shift. I could listen to this voice all day. It ends on a really nice note with that voice. Again, it lingers so that when you end the track, you're like, okay, the one thing I remember, the defining trait is Zola's voice. Told you, it's incredible. And I mean, again, like I said, I've heard plenty of talented female singers, but none to that level in terms of the mastery. And again, I mean no disrespect, because there's a lot of voices I love, but Zola's like next level. That's what I think. I mean, the poem. Well, I'm gonna call it a poem. It kind of comes across to me just in the language. It is interesting. The music video is very it's dark. I was gonna say like it's very dark in terms of the scenery. Like they're in a forest or bog setting with these little like pixie-like things essentially, or fairies, I guess maybe what they call them, but just kind of lingering around. The color's beautiful, by the way. I like the way the blue comes in. Because, I mean, normally it would be, if you look at a scene, like especially if you're watching a film, it would be fitting to use a color match. Like here in the opening shots where you've got Zola with, her red hair is so beautiful. But where that's in contrasted to the green and the what is it? Dawn scenery? Or would it be dusk? I'm not sure exactly. But it's a nice comment to whatever. And it does fit the Christmas color model. But then you got this blue that comes in, so it's an interesting change, but it's so beautiful in the way that it's depicted. I mean, it's kind of the journey. It looks like they all might be cold outside, and how dark this is, but just kind of dancing around in a circle. It's just got this elegance. Maybe also I'd say it comes across as a bit European. I don't know. Again, I've seen a lot of movies from different aspects of the world, so. It's just some things seem a little bit recognizable, at least in the visual component. But that song is beautiful. I mean, just the story is interesting in terms of it being, again, like a fantasy a narrative. But her voice, I mean, again, I just get lost in it because I'm just like, her voice is so excellent. And it's a softer song from some of the other metal tracks they've done, but it's a good balance. It's still got some of the riffs in there that feel like Blackbriar. They have that defining characteristic that if you've listened to past songs from them, you know what to expect, especially on the more abrasive stuff. But it's blended so beautifully with her voice, especially in the softer parts. It's enchanting. It really is. So if this is your first introduction, like I said, I want to broaden this out a little more and look at different bands out there that I think are extremely talented, and perhaps groups that people don't know about, as well. Especially people in my circles. Like, no one knows this group. Guaranteed. Not anybody that I know. They don't even know any. They didn't know Starset. They don't know Dead by April. I think a couple know, like, Trivium. Few others. But most of the groups that I listen to, no one talks about. Except for me. And I'm like, well, you guys are all missing out, because I'm listening to, talented stuff over here, while you got... What do you got in your world, or whatever Hollywood wants? Like, WAP and stuff. Anyway. I'm kidding. That's an awful song. This is, I think this is a lot more talent expressed here. What are your guys' thoughts with Fairy of the Bogs? Or if this is your first opportunity listening to Blackbriar, like I've said, perhaps sometimes when they, with particular songs, I might not, agree with the myth, and sometimes I might not listen to the song, but you can't deny the beauty of that voice. And they have some songs I think that are good. This one, beautiful. It's an interesting release, especially in the Christmas season. It is. Oh, but I love it. I can't wait to hear more. I can't wait to listen maybe to other songs that they might have released you might not know about on this channel. This will not be, I think, the first time or the last time you see Blackbriar. I don't think it will. Keep your eyes peeled. But let me know what your thoughts are down below on Fairy of the Bog. Don't forget all the good stuff, the like, subscribing, the sharing, and that bell until we get to maybe listen to some more tunes, or maybe it's more of the familiar. We'll get to watch a movie trailer together, or just something else. We'll get to spend some time together in some other way. But I will see you guys at whatever point that happens to be. But for now, thanks for watching this video. I love you guys. Don't forget to love your fellow man. God bless, and peace.